I'm Paul Spear. It's June 15th, and I am here today in the IB Citizen Center with
Linda Heath, Tito Gish,
and we are here to find out about some of the history of Imperial Beach. So, Tito, when did you first get to Imperial Beach?
I started here right after I graduated out of high school. My sister put me in beauty school, and from beauty school, I found a job. My first job was here in Imperial Beach.
Okay, so
second 100 block.
What year was that you?
48.
49. So you got here in 1948,
49.
49. Mm-hmm. And you immediately started into high school, you said?
Finished high school.
You finished high school and you started beauty school?
Yes.
Oh, great. And where was that at?
Marinello on 12th Street in San Diego, 12th and Broadway.
Okay. Well, super. And how did you travel here?
Bus. By bus. At that time, you know.
Yeah. And where did you come from?
Chula Vista.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I graduated from Chula Vista High.
Okay. And what made you decide to live in Imperial Beach?
Well, as I told you, I had just received my beauty license, and I found this job here with Joe Bennett and Paul Bennett, and they had this shop and they had an opening, so I came and they hired me right away.
And where was their shop at?
At 235 Palm Avenue.
Oh, wow.
Imperial Beach.
Okay, so you're down there near the ocean.
Oh, yeah. The flooding, oh, yeah. You know, high tide.
Oh, so
yeah.
it flooded a lot.
Oh, yeah. But it was over before you know it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was nothing that stayed.
Mm-hmm. Well, great. And how many of your family came with you to Imperial Beach? Was it just you, or?
Well, just me. I was employed here.
Okay.
I wasn't living here. I lived in Chula Vista, and I come from a big family.
And what was Imperial Beach like when you got here?
You know, everyone knew everyone. You know how that is, like a little village, and everyone knew everyone. If a new business went in, everybody knew about it. You know, the hardware store came in across the street from the beauty shop, and then the Imperial Beach.
What's the name of the hardware store?
Jeffers Hardware Store. It's Mary and John Jeffers and their family. And they started, it was a big store, and then Mr. Keller, he was from England, and he started the cigar shop. And just cigars and cigarettes he would sell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was unusual for us because everyone said, well, who smokes, you know?
Yeah.
But it was, he was from England. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was a real small town. Everyone, like I tell you, knew everyone, you know, the business places, and the people were very congenial, beautiful people.
Mm-hmm. And what was it? I don't imagine it was called Seacoast Drive then.
No.
No, what was it called
I was
then?
trying
and
to
what
think,
was
it was
like?
First Street.
First Street.
Yeah, I'm almost sure it was called First. And then it was second, third, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Third and Palm was the clock, you know, famous clock.
Oh, they had a famous clock?
Yeah, that was a bar.
Uh-huh.
You know, and it was, like I say, everyone knew everyone. It was a real nice community, which it still is, you know. I'm real proud to be living here in Imperial Beach. I like it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what were the streets like at the time?
They were safe, you know, because people were driving slow. It's nothing of speeding and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any problems like that at all, or even expanding them and things like that.
So they've expanded the streets, I take it a lot.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. They've widened them quite a bit, yes. Yeah, and they've improved a lot of housing. Came in right there by the Westview School. Back there, all that was housing came in.
So it was a clear lot, and then
yes,
housing.
And then the housing came in.
And what year did the housing come in over there?
I'm trying to think what year it was. I think it was in the 50s or 50s, the early 50s, and those homes were built there.
Okay, and were there what were the churches in the area at the time?
Well, mostly it was a Methodist church we had,
Mm-hmm.
and it was right there on 3rd and Palm.
Okay.
And it's then we had the Westview Church, the Westview Church that my neighbors belonged to, and I belonged to St. Charles. We had St. Charles, which was situated on 17th and Elm,
Okay.
in a little corner, you know.
Not like
Oh,
the big place it is today.
no. It was just a wooden building, and we were glad to have it, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one big, one big room, but it was a church at 17th and Palm, 17th and Elm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, when you got here, there wasn't actually an incorporated city of Imperial Beach, was there?
No. We were still under the county.
Uh-huh. So do you remember anything about when it got incorporated?
Oh, definitely. Everyone was working for it, because they were saying what we were going to get and who we were going to have, and things like that. And there was young people mostly, and we had Picklesheimer. He was one of the oldest, and Fuller was another older member of the community. And we had people that were interested in bettering Imperial Beach. And my husband was the first fire chief, but he got there
What was
because they
your
loved
husband's
him.
name?
Clarence Gish.
Okay.
But it was a volunteer. They had volunteer fire department and volunteer police department.
Oh.
And that was run by some sheriffs from Chula Vista at that time.
Okay, and then they volunteered with
Yes.
them, and they kind of helped them.
Exactly, They, the radio contacts and all that,
Mhm.
the policemen set it up, and so did the firemen. And that a real good community, like I say, with the
Yeah.
firemen.
And where was the fire department? Where was the police department? Where were they located?
The fire department has always been 235 Palm Avenue.
Okay.
They started with a hut. Those little huts were put out by the Navy. The Navy was getting rid of them, and they were placing them wherever any community could use them. And when I was in high school, we were transferred from Chula Vista High to Brownsville. And where were the huts? Up in Brownsville.
Oh, okay. At the
They
airport.
used them as classrooms.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was really nice. It was the Navy had it at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and they were living there, and then they left, and we came, Chula Vista High was there for a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the volunteer department, they had a certain siren that would call them, and they'd all go,
Mm-hmm.
It was something.
And then I guess do you remember the incorporation ceremony? Were you there when the city had their?
Oh, no, I didn't get there on that sort of big one, no.
But-
That was in the 50s, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess they would hold their city council meetings.
Yes, they
They-
would,
What there was that 7th and Palm where they
I'm trying to think of,
in the old Coronado Federal.
yes, that's where they started, I think,
Yeah.
yeah. And they met as a group, there was citizens that wanted to be leaders, like Picklesheimer, and then there was another man that was real interested. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I
And
think
he-
the Colonel, I can't remember.
Business people, Sig Samuels was another very interested in it, and so was George Nikoloff, another businessman.
Right.
We had business people that wanted to make something from Imperial Beach, and that was really nice. And we had Mr. Alexander, he was a pastor at the Methodist Church,
Mhm.
and he was very good too, and he led the people. And we had, like I say, people that were interested in the new city.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we had organizations, the Lions Club was in,
Mhm.
things like that. And
I think they had a gardening club, didn't they?
I think they had a garden club. Yes, they did. A garden club, and they had I think the women's club started later, in later years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why I was asking Ralph when the senior started. I don't know when the senior club started, but it's very old too.
Yeah.
But they had Chris. Mary Chris was telling me that her husband and Clarence and the head of the what was it, Little League.
Mm-hmm.
Those three men started the Little League here for the children. So everything was provided here. You know, people were working for it.
Right.
For the children, for the city, for everyone.
Yeah, and how many children did you have?
Three. 2 boys and a girl.
Uh-huh. And where did they go to school?
They went to Mar Vista High.
They went to Mar Vista
They graduated
High?
from Mar Vista High.
Uh-huh. And where did they go to grade school?
They went right there to Westview Elementary School.
Okay.
We had great principals, and Alice Compton was the principal there at Westview.
Mm-hmm.
And PTA was very active at that time. PTA came in knowing that we were trying to build a city. They came in and taught the people how to be a president, a vice president, a treasurer, a parliamentarian, whatever you needed. The PTA from San Diego came in and helped us.
Okay.
And they had classes for us, yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Great.
So that you could open a meeting, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was a big help to all of us. And we had like the Humphreys, the Cold Irons, people that were really active. And a lot of these people were retired officers from the Navy. So that was a big help. But they had interest in having their families live here in Imperial Beach.
Yeah. So growing up, what did your children do? They played Little League?
They went to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And they carried a big surfboard that was about 9 foot long. And it took the 3 of them to carry it, believe me. And they say, there goes the Gish kids, you know.
Carrying their surfboard down to the beach.
Down
Yes.
Palm Avenue, yeah.
And where would they surf?
Pardon?
Where would they surf?
On the beach.
But which?
On Daisy.
At
The
Daisy.
Daisy or the end of Palm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that area. And you know, we never worried about our children. I never did. I just knew that they were
In a safe place.
Yes, and other people were there too, and children, the same way.
Yeah, well, I imagine if it was a tight community, you kind of all looked out after
Yes,
each
we
other.
did, that's right. And we knew who was who, you know.
Right. Knew who the troublemakers were and who the... Yeah. Now, do you remember any big floods or natural disasters?
In here, as we've lived here, no, but when before, we had nothing on our beachfront.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one thing that I really commended Mr. Bowler. He had the foresight to see the future of Imperial Beach. He wanted them to buy, you know, where the Navy stops up there?
Right.
That street. Okay, and it went that way to Palm Avenue, and so he wanted to buy the beachfront. And the beachfront at that time was just little apartments,
Mm-hmm.
and he knew it was going up for sale, and he wanted to buy it. But other people on the council said, no, that was just throwing money away, because there was no way to get in there. You know where surf is? Well, on this side of the fence. He wanted that all the way to Palm Avenue, because he knew the value of that property.
So he was able to get that for the city?
He wanted to, but he didn't get it.
He wasn't able to?
No, we didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, well, you know, it takes a lot of people working together.
Yeah.
You know. But he wanted to see that as a beachfront for the city.
Yeah.
City Hall. You know.
Yeah.
But that's the part that would get flooded all the way down to Silver Strand, you know. At that time it was Silver Strand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of your biggest memories of things happening in Imperial Beach?
We had great parades. Everyone got to be in the parade. No matter who you were, you got to be in the parade because you were going to make noise. If you didn't make noise, you were with a group, a club, a Boy Scout troop, or a Girl Scout troop, whatever it was. And it let everybody have a part of the parade.
Yes.
And then we had the Sun and Sea Days. And that was really nice because, again, anybody could go and set up their little place. And they knew it was 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And when did that start?
Oh, wow, I'm trying to think. Let's see, 50. I'd say 52, 53.
Mm-hmm. And that was the Sun
and Sea Days,
And that took place every summer?
Yes, And you look forward to that, And the parade the same way, if you could make noise with anything, they'd let you go on it. And we had kids riding bikes on it, and the girls, and it was really nice. The children participated, parents.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we were a small group.
And why did that end? What happened that ended?
Well, it was real sad because then it got commercialized. And I know my niece was selling watermelon at 50 cents a slice.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to do that. But now, license came in and all that cost, and people just didn't have that money,
Oh, so they started to commercialize it,
Exactly.
wanted to charge
So when you
for everything.
commercialize it, you have to pay for the space, you have to insure.
Yeah.
That's where insurance comes in. And
Yeah. So when did that end? About approximately.
I just don't know.
Well, how old were your children, do you think, when it ended?
9 and 10, yeah. I don't know. It must have been around the 50s that it ended, or 60s.
So it lasted about, 10, 15 years then?
About a good 10 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That gave us a boost, believe me. Yeah. And that's when the Port District came available, and they wanted Imperial Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And they got Imperial Beach. Well, the Port District owns us, that beachfront.
Right.
And that's, I don't know, it's not Imperial Beach. And I know they look forward to having the, when they built the pier, they look forward to having the boats go from here out fishing,
Mm-hmm.
But the San Diego couldn't have stopped it that fast.
Yeah.
It didn't even get in the paperboard.
Yeah.
And they said, don't even think of it,
Yeah.
But that would have been a nice thing for Imperial Beach to have,
Yeah.
boats to go out on the weekend,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
And
Well, now the pier, that came down a couple times while you've been here, hasn't it?
oh, I think just about once, not that bad. It wasn't to say come down. Of course, we never said it came down.
Well, part of it, crashed in?
Yeah, oh yeah. They closed it for a while. Oh yeah. It was a danger to the community, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And what do you remember do you remember anything of the whale that was over the pier?
Oh yeah, that was a real big thing, but we didn't know how close they would come to the coast,
Mm-hmm.
And that was really nice, and that's something you look forward to a certain time of the year,
Well, what was that all about? I mean, just whale watching?
Whale watching, and people say the whales are coming, and all the word would spread, and people would go down there.
And could you actually see them?
Camera. Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but they had they swim like in groups.
Mhm.
So you'd see 4 or 5, and then all of a sudden 4 or 5 again,
Oh,
It was
wow.
fun. It was fun. I never have seen little ones, but they were all big whales going south, yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So that must have been quite an experience then.
Oh yeah, for everyone.
Yeah.
To be that close. And we're real proud of our pier, That's something that's really nice for everyone. All the fishermen, and the young and the old,
Right.
So it makes it nice.
Right.
And the kids, all think it's a great thing to dive off the end of it.
Oh, it used to dive off the end. Yeah, they don't let them do that anymore.
Oh, you know they do it though.
Oh, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
young.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, super.
Well, we've had great councilmen, Dennis Ord and Connie Ord. They worked very hard for our community. You know, all the clubs and all our councilmen were interested in improving a good city, having a good city, you know,
Right.
like the fire department, police department. And I feel that we have had good leaders here. Yeah. And no, they didn't go to school, they didn't go to college, but they still have knowledge of the
Right.
community. You
Right.
know.
Well, that's important.
Yes,
too.
it is. Yeah. We had Rexall Drugstore across from the Sheriff's Station. Yeah, my husband worked part-time there. That was Bob Shopton. And he was one of the leaders too because he helped build the Imperial Beach Fire Department.
Okay.
Yeah,
And where was the Rexall?
right across from, on the first block of,
On the first block of Palm.
Mhm.
Okay, so in the 100 block.
the VFW was here and then the Rexall was there.
Okay, right next to
There's
the
a little
VFW.
alleyway,
Okay.
And I don't know if they closed that alley or opened it. I don't know if it's still open. I don't know.
Well, there's an alley, and then there's that parking lot on the corner.
Yeah, so it must be there still, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There is an alley between the VFW and the
Mhm.
parking lot that they hold the
Yeah.
Taste of Ivy and things
Yeah.
like that. And, yeah. All right. Well, I thank you for sharing
You're
with us.
welcome, anytime. Anytime. Like I said, we were beautiful people that we had. George and Susie Idy,
Mm-hmm.
they were business people and they opened the clock, but it was a bar, you know. And Susie said, I don't know the first thing about a drink. They don't think about drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they opened that.
Yeah.
And they were beautiful. They were from sweet, beautiful people. Yeah. And they had twins and one boy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.